again. There's only so many times I'm going to say I killed the president on tape
Yeah,
just for my
yeah.
own
It's gonna
safety.
be
Uh,
that's my new ringtone.
yeah. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to another Friday installment of the Audiophiles as we approach the holiday season. Well, I guess we're really in the throes of it. And actually, while we're on the subject, a little bit of housekeeping to go over. So this Sunday, Christmas Eve, we will be doing a special episode, a Christmas song that I'll be offering up to John. And then on Christmas Day, should you guys need a break from all the festivities, John will be offering up me a song, Christmas themed, of course. And then I guess Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday will be some compilation videos that John and I put together of our top threes of the past pretty much year, where we're going to be doing our top three viewer requests, top three songs that John enjoyed that I gave him, and vice versa. So that'll be a bulk of the week. And then Friday, we'll get back to our regularly scheduled program with another viewer request. And speaking of viewer request, that's why you're probably here right now. And we're going to get into that. John, we've got a song for you, sir, that was offered up by a one Henry Boyer 04. So not 01, 02, 03, no, 04. That's the one. And he has got a song called Number One Fan by a band called Majesty Crush. Are you familiar with them?
I feel like I've heard the name, but I can't say I'm familiar with them. It just makes me think of Majesty Shredding, which is Superchunk album. I don't know why that's just popped into my head. It kind of is, a very, very dim bell is ringing somewhere in the recesses of the mansion of my brain. And the West Wing, the damaged one.
The palatial estate, huh? Your modesty always rings true, John. Well,
Memory Palace.
In the interest of fairness, I wasn't familiar with these guys either. So this was kind of an interesting one for me too. But you're up to deck to go off and give this a listen, record yourself. And you're going to come back and let me and Henry and everybody else out there in the audience know what you thought of it. So go on, get
10-4.
Doesn't go away when they call your name. I go insane. I feel alive inside my jeans. I take a car with a train and plane. Kill anyone that got in my way. The kind of fun that never strays. But I'm your number one fan. Number one fan.
Okay, there's a lot going on here. Good start. Yeah, something about this is quite familiar. I think it's the vocal melody. That's familiar, but I don't know what it's from, but I've definitely heard that before. I really like the start. There's almost like a post-punky type, fairly sort of chill beat with the bass and the drums. And I like the chords as you sort of going, yeah. And then you've got that sort of almost shoegazy, but not quite shoegazy noise coming through as well. But it's just there. It's not taking over. It's got a really chilled, relaxed vibe to it. Yeah, I like this so far. Some really interesting stuff going on. You've got like a framework, and then within it you've got these various noises coming, layers almost of guitars and stuff. There was something really tinny in this channel, almost like a steely sounding guitar, just kind of way. I might just pull that back a set to listen to it. But this kind of feels to me like, I'm going to sound like such a cock if I'm wrong, but it sounds British. It's almost got that same undeveloped tension that some of the Sunday songs have, where you feel like it's about to explode and it doesn't quite do so. I mean, there's some really nice guitar sort of chords, almost splashes as he sings certain bits, but it's never going full tilt. And that's like a lot of the Sunday stuff, but done in a different style. It's got a lovely vibe to it as well. It's just really building a kind of atmosphere. I'm not really listening to the words. You obviously said I'm your number one fan of it, so I'm getting a feeling there's kind of this frustrated and requited bit to it, but I'm probably wrong. But that's the mood I'm getting. It's just like it's not quite working for him. Yeah, this is very cool. I'm liking this. It's going to pull it back just a touch. I hear those little guitar things. That little bit there where it just kicked back in again, it's just like an extra ray of sunlight just coming on the song. It's really simple, but I really like it. bit jarred off that's ended. Please tell me there's an 8-minute remix somewhere. I really like the vibe it was producing. Really nice groove to it, and you could just shut your eyes and lose yourself in it for another 5 minutes easily. Yeah, his voice pick, I liked it. It just fitted. Something about his voice. It kind of, you always draw comparisons. There's a bit of I don't know, I can't remember the name of the guy, but the singer from Breaks. There's a bit of that in it. There's a bit of something else. Guitars, pick, really nice, clever as well. They're not in your face, but they're sliding in different layers of guitars. The emphasis on certain things as well, like accents. Drumming, nothing flash, but really nice groove. The whole rhythm section, really cool. The way it's put together as well, the overall feeling. Yeah, tick, tick, tick all around. Really like this. Right, let's find out some more. Let's go back and talk with Andy.
Welcome back.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, of course. It's the least I could do. So, what do you think?
Okay, I'll start off by saying I really, really, really like this. Just to get that out of there.
Thought you would.
So the song starts with this really nice, quite highish bass and that drum beat, which is sort of redolent of updated post-punk strain of alternative. And I'm thinking 90s straight away. I don't know why. Maybe it's the drum beat, but it's the 90s. And then the voice and this free-falling guitar chords sort of cement it within 20 seconds. There's like a wistful, unrequited feeling to or tone to this, and I know I'm gonna like it. And it has a sort of smidge of shoegaze, so that's why all the guitar sounds are making me feel 90s. Not sure, it could be 2018 for all I know. But so you guys start singing, as I say, with these really nice open sort of chords. I really like the vocals. I'm not gonna totally deconstruct the song because it swept me away. So I'm just going to the feelings I got. So because also he did sing I'm the #1 fan quite a bit, but the lyrics passed me by, unfortunately. But I really liked his vocals. It had an airy quality to them, like he was singing whilst laying on his back, and the words are just floating up to the sky. That's the sort of images I got, and his voice is somewhat similar to the lead singer of Breaks, which is a British band from Brighton, but with a dash of somebody else, as yet unidentified by myself. But so it's a little bit of that.
But stop holding my breath.
Yes, so the vocal melody was really familiar. For when he sings "I'm the #1 fan," yeah, that was really familiar, and I don't know if it's some other track, or if I've heard snatches or snippets of this back in the day, but it did ring several sort of chords of reminiscence to me. Nonetheless, just great. The song itself had a really nice structure to it, which you don't often get. I think you used to get it probably more back, I'm going to say 90s again. And you have this with the Sundays as well, where the songs never really climax properly. It kind of builds and builds and builds, and there's no denouement, as it were. And what it does is it keeps for me anyway, it keeps the tension going as you're expecting some sort of peak or culmination, which doesn't really happen. And for that, it sounded to me quite British, or at least sort of 4AD, like, the label that kind of welcomed those American bands that sounded different, like Pixies, like Throw Muses and stuff like that. So it had this sort of 90s British quality to it, the sound. As the song goes on after the first chorus, there's this really nice, it's like not even a second, but it's a really nice bass bump in it after the first chorus, which I really liked. And the guitars start to blossom all the time into a fuller sound, but within this framework that you've got going all the time, At one point, there's this like tinny sounding guitar in the left channel that comes and goes. There's loads of layers, which kind of puts shoegaze into my mind, probably. And there's varying levels of like this distorted guitars that are almost like background radiation that keeps just like, you know, moving and shifting. There's one part which I did actually rewind back about 2/3 of the way through, where one of the guitars comes back in, and it's almost like a shaft of light just like cutting through the noise. It's really beautiful. And he carries on singing, and it carries on churning but not quite going to anywhere, which adds to this feeling of, it's almost, but there's a chillaxed atmosphere to it as well. So it's kind of like things are a bit fucked, but I'm okay with it. You know, that's kind of the feeling I get from it. Which, you know, which again is just a 90s, early 90s thing as well.
Very. Yeah.
And then it sort of, you know, finished and petered out. I was really disappointed when it finished. Because of the structure of the song, and I know it's not for everyone, but for me, that could have gone on for almost forever. And I think I said in the reaction, I really hope there's like an 8-minute remix of this or a 10-minute remix, because I could just listen to it. I could listen to this on repeat, no problem at all. I loved it. I think it was a great shout, Henry. And I'm really, really chuffed you shoved it our way. I absolutely loved it. And I'd like to know a bit more about this band, because I've got this like real almost feeling that I might have heard just the chorus or bits of this before, but, you know, really intrigued about them, knowing more about them.
Yeah, it was a real gem as far as like the discovery of this, because like I said, I had never heard it before either, and doing the research on it was as rewarding as listening to the song itself, because it was really interesting to hear about these guys and kind of their story. Not to, you know, I don't want to drum up too many expectations, but it was just cool how we've talked about this before, how someone could slip through the cracks, or a band could slip through the cracks at, you know, any given sort of time
Sure.
in sort of musical history. But this is kind of an example of that. I guess they were an American indie rock / shoegaze band formed in 1990 and out of Detroit, Michigan. They would go on to break up in 1995. The band's lineup consisted of singer David Straughter, bassist Hobie Eklund, guitarist Michael Siegel, and drummer Odell Nails III. In the early 1990s, that's a pretty badass name, I got to agree.
I like it. I like it when bands make an effort with their names. I mean, I think Hobie's a great name. It really is.
Yes. So in the early 90s, they would tour with and open for such bands as Jesus Jones, Mazzy Star, Royal True, and The Verve. And the song Number One Fan picked up significant radio play on Windsor, Ontario's 89X, and led to their signing with Dolly Records, a Warner Elektra subsidiary. And the label released Love 15, the band's lone studio album, in 1993. And already when I saw 1993, I began to go, so it's probably hard for this sound in America to take off with probably what Warner and Elektra had hoped in the midst of 1993, when everybody wanted to push grunge rock out, which isn't a bad thing, but it oversaturated the market, and there was no room for other good bands doing slightly different shit that was still very 90s to flourish, if you will. So that was sort of the first red flag I saw when I saw that. So All Music's Joshua Glazer described the album as a testament to what might have been if only the band's 4 members lived in Manchester instead of Detroit, which I thought was an interesting quote, and sort of what you were kind of roundabout saying, essentially.
It's
you know?
sounding, yeah.
Yes. So the band's momentum came to an abrupt halt, however, when Dolly, that subsidiary, folded within a month of the album's release, and Majesty Crush returned a year later with a self-released Sans Muscles EP before breaking up in 1995. David Straughter went on to form the band PS I Love You, while Odell Nails, the drummer, played with Robin Guthrie of the Cocteau Twins, Astro Bright and Mahogany, and a more garage indie punk outfit known as the Hunters. In 2009, Full Effect Records released the compilation album I Love You in Other Cities, the best of Majesty Crush, 1990 through 1995. And OC Weekly's David Siegel remarked that the album offers 14 reasons why you should still care about this footnote in shoegaze rock history. All Music's Heather Fares called it a good retrospective of a band that just may have been in the wrong place at the wrong time. Laura Wachowski of Metro Times said the album feels like the work of a super fan, one keen to share his excitement for a band deserving of more attention than it ever received. The surviving members of the band, because I should mention that Straughter passed away in 2017, the surviving members of the band entered into an exclusive license deal with Numero Group, which has been releasing various tracks in preparation for the deluxe physical anthology set to release sometime next year in 2024. Let's jump into these lyrics, shall we? So yeah, oh yeah, yeah, oh. My butterflies won't go away. When they call your name, I go insane. I feel love inside my jeans. Take a car, a boat, a train, a plane, kill anyone that got in my way. The kind of fan that never strays. Well, I'm your number one fan. Your number one fan. Yeah, oh. I sent you a letter. I sent you a letter a day. I found out the places you were staying. Fake names never got in my way. I'd take a car, a boat, a train, a plane, kill anyone that got in my way. The kind of fan that never strays. Well, I'm your number one fan. Your number one fan. Yeah. Oh, John, this has you written all like you love these kind of sadistic kind of shit. You always interpret it that way, and here it is explicit.
It is, yeah. It started out quite nice, and then it's like, yeah, well, fake names never threw me on that.
Yeah, I like your tenacity, kid.
It's like Joe P all over again.
Yes, exactly. Post chorus goes, I'd kill the president. I'd kill the president. I'd kill the president. I've read everything that you wrote. I've said everything that you've said. I've watched every screen that you've played on. I'd take a car, a boat, a train, a plane, kill anyone that got in my way. The kind of fan that never strays. Because I'm your number one fan. Your number one fan. Yeah, yeah. I'd kill the president. Kill the president. I'd kill the president. I'd kill the president for your love. I'd kill the president for your love. The president for your love. The president for your love. And then all of that repeats itself again. There's only so many times I'm going to say I'd kill the president on tape.
Yeah. It's going to be that's my new ringtone.
Yeah.
So yeah. This isn't to do with like Jodie Foster and Ronald Reagan and all that rubbish, is it?
Well, you know what, man? Thanks for taking the wind out of my fucking sails. Yeah, the late David Straughter said the song is specifically about John Hinckley Jr. shooting Reagan to somehow impress Jodie Foster, who he was obsessed with. So yeah, by the time you get to the "I Kill the President," I think it comes kind of if you remember, if you were around long enough for that to happen and knew about it, then yeah, I think it rings true, right? You know what they're talking about. Interesting fucking subject matter, right?
Yeah.
And from inside the brain of the nut job. It's not like here's a narrative story about it. It's like, let's get inside the head of the loose cannon.
Yeah, she really suffered after that for a while. Lockdown and everything. Because I think, was she at college then?
She was.
I can't remember where she went, but yeah, I think she was at college, like Harvard or somewhere like that. One of the sort of posh places, and she had to lock down because there was blowback on both sides, But yeah, absolute fucking nut job, as you say. That's incredible. That's really cool that someone's done a song about that. And it's quite so relaxed selling as well. It really sounds chilled. It's like, oh yeah, I'm not that bothered. It's like the way he's singing it.
Yeah.
That's notched it up a couple more in my estimation. That song.
Right. Me too. I thought that was really interesting to tackle this kind of subject matter. And as the guy that brought like Possum Kingdom to the the channel with the weird
Yeah.
story of like the fictitious thing that then became like believed to be true from that point on. And it was a sort of insidious kind of shit like this is going on. I don't know. That's really interesting to me for people to be inspired by that kind of stuff. And again, not talk about it directly, but rather get into the head of one of the characters. In this case, the most interesting of them because of like the awful that they performed they did. So it's just kind of interesting from an artistic standpoint, I guess, that you would do that. And again, like you, I like the song. Ooh, love the homework on the band. That's really interesting story. And then the song is really like the lyrics are really fucking cool too. So checked all the boxes. This was like Henry. I echo John's sentiments. This is a really awesome suggestion that you brought to the table. And again, I can't help but think about the stuff that we just did, the top threes, why we do this, and what a great hitting streak like our listeners have been on and the people that have offered up tunes, because this has been a lot of fun.
Yeah, so, I think just going back to what you said about the band being in the wrong place at the wrong time, I think that's true. It's quite sad, really, but there's 1,000,001 bands that never even get a shot. Do you know what I mean? And we talked about this as well. But I think if that had come out in 91 or 90 and on something like the aforementioned 4AD label, you know, it would have really gone off, because that's the sort of, it sounds like that's the avenue that they would have been best going down, rather than
for sure,
some Warner offshoot that really didn't give a shit about them after a while.
You know, absolutely.
But they have, at least it's there, you know, for all eternity, so people can access it, you know.
Cool. For sure. And I'm glad that there's people out here like kind of like still cultivating, you know, relevance out of it by like remastering it and putting it out. And you know, because now that everyone is I think there's a larger interest from younger people to go check out older stuff, and to kind of dig it. There's that hipster mentality of going back and seeing what came before you, and kind of latching onto that. And I think that this keeps this kind of stuff evergreen for those folks that want to kind of, you know, not just listen to top 40 stuff and see what else is out there. And they're awesome. So it's yeoman's work by the folks that are, you know, remastering and putting this stuff out. And maybe that stuff that comes out next year will be really, really cool. And I'm going to try to keep my eyes peeled for it. All right. Well, I'll put a pin in this and say, John, thanks for giving this a listen. This is a really cool experience. And Henry Boyer, number 4. Thank you so much for offering this up. This is a great, great tune. Guys out there in the listening audience, let us know if you're familiar with these guys, if it was also your first listen to Majesty Crush and what you thought of it, what it made you think of. Also, feel free to use the comments section to drop some other suggestions we can listen to as 2024 approaches. We're going to need songs to tap into there. Not that we don't have plenty, but we're always gathering more and collating all of these requests so that we can get into them with y'all. That being said, John and I hope to see all y'all on the next installment of the Audiophiles. See you later, guys.